Don't mind me playing on my small piano. Check out these skills. Anyways, welcome back to Factory Town Tycoon. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys a piano setup. I got a comment asking for one. Usually I like to make cheap, beginner-friendly setups, usually ones without engines, but this commenter didn't seem to care, which is convenient because once you get into doing metal, it is pretty difficult to be cheap. The setup includes 13 cranes, 10 storage logic gates, 8 mining drills, 7 smelters, and 5 blacksmiths. It's also very holistic. It covers pretty much everything you could need, all the way from logs, seeds, drill heads, to fuel and overflow. There's no need to plug and play certain parts. You can just build this whole thing and it's ready to go. If you already have a source of wood or drills, then this farm is pretty easy to implement. You can just remove a few parts. Everything is color coded. We have the log area in green, and then in this pinkish red we have all the metals. Then in the blue we have drill heads. In this purple we have tables and benches. And then finally we have the actual production line and rerouting in brown. First, I'm going to explain the setup, and then I'll show you guys it more in depth, and then we're going to do a building by building tutorial, and finally a time lapse with rates. Let's get started. To create a piano, we're going to need a few things. 4 things. We will need tables and benches, and then we're going to need iron frames and coils. So this is like our wood section, and this is our metal section. So these two will just need logs and nails, and the nails require iron, which is obtained over on this section. To get coils we need copper. To get iron frames we need iron, so these will be shared. And then both of these will need drill heads and charcoal, so they need to be fed wood. And then once these are created and create these, put the iron over here, and everything will come together and make the piano. Alright, here's a little top-down view of what the farm looks like. You can start over here, as all good farms do, with the wood production. Very simple wood production. There's even room for another one if you would like to. The wood goes along here, and then it meets right at this advanced storage rack. This advanced storage rack is like the brain of the entire system. It collects wood, charcoal, drill heads, and iron, and then redistributes them around the farm. This storage rack will spider out and create loops of production, and then eventually feed it into the final production line to create the piano. So we can look at the first small loop, which will be this pink. This is an iron loop. So right here we have a set of drills, smelters, and bang, the iron's created. And then next we have copper. Right here we have a small copper line. And then over here in the blue, we have the drill heads. This is another loop. They all get fed in here. And then finally, the only thing that doesn't loop back is the furniture, the tables and the benches. These get put right out here and go through a little system and then get inserted into the production line. This white will be the production line, going right here, and this is the final product. So right now we have the furniture, tables and benches right here, going into here. We need the metal frames and the copper coils. The copper will come right here, get picked up, turn into coils, go right into the system. The iron will get spit out right here, picked up, turn into a metal box. And then right here we have everything that we need. It will create the piano, put it in this barrel, and it's ready for you to sell. Alright, now moving on to the tutorial, I went ahead and cleared all the conveyors and everything so we can start from scratch. We're going to start in the corner with our log production. I'm using planks simply because if you don't care about money, they grow the fastest. If you do care about money, just stick with oak. So let's put down some log conveyors, and then we're going to place a garden harvester. Line it up like so. You're going to want to line the garden harvester up like this, and then for these 3 garden beds, make it so that this higher side is parallel. And then we're going to place our storage crane right in front of the barrel. Then we're going to follow it up with a long conveyor. Going to get it until it's not red anymore and place it. Another long conveyor. And then this is going to go straight into a conveyor sorter so that we can just loop everything back. And we'll set it to any items. And then put the long conveyors on the top, like this. And now this makes a little loop, and we're gonna have the seeds get dropped every, I don't know, minute. So they'll go through here, get picked up, then go back in here. So whenever you want to place more seeds, just put more seeds in the seed box. Now for the other 3 garden beds, we're gonna place them over here. We're gonna line them up so that this taller side is with the long conveyors. All right, done. And then at the end of the long conveyor, you're going to want to grab your storage rack and place it at the end. And this will be your main storage for the whole farm. Let's grab a mining drill, and then we're going to line it up to where 2 mining drills fit, and it's 2 spaces away. So now we have these 2 mining drills that are apart. Then for the next mining drill, let's grab an iron mining drill. We want to align it up right here and then push it 1 over. So it's slightly clipping. Grab another mining drill, do the same thing, put it in by 1, so it's slightly clipping. And we'll grab a conveyor corner, attach it on, and then our last mining drill for the iron, place it right here. And now we're going to put smelters on top. So let's grab a conveyor sorter, we will line it up, and then we'll put our smelters. 1 smelter, turning conveyor, 2 smelters, 3rd, and 4th. So because we cut in on those drills down there, now this smelter overlaps and will fall right back into the storage. And next for copper, we'll just put 2 coppers down. Next part is a conveyor sorter. What we actually need to do is move this mining drill real quick. And then we're going to place the conveyor sorter and line it right up. And then we'll place the 2 smelters. 1, 2. You see the smelters will line up right here. And then we're going to move this conveyor sorter in by 1. Now we can put the mining drill back. And then we'll place the half stone wall right here, just so that when the materials come up, they can't fall out this other side. We can do the same thing over here real quick. Make sure it's going the right way. And then sometimes materials don't get picked up, so we can just put a corner right here. Not sure why. So now we have the iron and the copper done. Let's move on to the drill. Start off with a conveyor T-joint, and we'll attach it right up here, coming off of the smelter. Make sure it's going this way. You'll notice that it lines up with this previous conveyor system, which is great. Let's go down from it and place a ramp going into it, and then we'll place a blacksmith, and we'll set it to drill heads. And then behind that blacksmith, we'll place another one. This one will be set to iron beams, and then we'll place a conveyor corner followed by a wood saw, because a wood saw is cheaper than 2 conveyors. We'll just go slightly into this corner, attach on another corner, and then a smelter. Make sure these corners are facing the right direction. This smelter will be set to iron, and then you're going to follow it up with a mining drill, set it to stone, and you'll put another conveyor corner, and then the last mining drill, and set it to iron. Now let's quickly go through all the mining drills and smelters. All the iron will be set to 3 max fuel. You'll set this single stone one to 2 max fuel. The iron smelters will be set to 3 max fuel as well. Copper will be set to 2 max fuel. Copper smelters will be set to 2 max fuel. Up here we have iron set correctly. 3, 3, 3. Oh, this one is not. Make sure these are set to any item. Next, we're going to place a wall. Set your grid size to 0 and just squeeze it in here. And then do the same for the kiln. Set it to 0. Leave some room for the storage crane. Then you can just go ahead and place the storage crane. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to work on the table and bench area. Put the grid size back to 1 and line it up on this side. Count over 1, 2. Place it just like that. And this will go straight into a blacksmith. Set this blacksmith to making nails. And this is going to go straight into a conveyor T-joint and into a buffer. On this side we'll have a conveyor splitter with a wood saw going into it and a conveyor right in front of that. And then to the right of the splitter we'll have a conveyor buffer going into a splitter. Then we need to place another splitter right above it. So what you can do is you'll get conveyor sorter and line it up. And then you'll place this carpenter and set it to making wooden frames. And you'll get rid of this conveyor sorter, and you'll place another conveyor slitter right on top. This bottom one will go into a corner, and then the other side will go into a carpenter. Make it go one off. And you'll put another carpenter right next to it. This will have a short conveyor and another conveyor sorter. Set it to any item. Then on this side, in front of the carpenter, let's put a wooden saw, and then plug in a conveyor sorter. Oh, this buffer is facing the wrong way. Put a stone wall and a barrel. This is the overflow protection barrel. Place the barrel too close, scoot it over. Perfect. Now we can set this sorter to any item, and this crane to any item. Let's just turn it on. Set it to 19. All right, and the last part is the final production line and the rerouting line. We might have to move this. Let's get rid of this real quick. Then let's grab a conveyor sorter, place it, then grab another conveyor sorter, put it on top. This is supposed to line up with right here, so it looks like we have to move it over about 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang, it lines up perfectly right there. We want this to be copper ingots. Put our conveyor back, grab a conveyor, attach it to here. After placing that conveyor, let's come over here, grab a conveyor sorter, and we're gonna line up this blue in the middle. Get as close as we can, so right here. And then from there, we'll place a short conveyor, followed by a blacksmith going into it. And then we'll place a conveyor sorter, but it will be underneath, looking like this. And then a conveyor corner. We don't really want it to clip in right here, so let's just move this conveyor over by 1. Let's set this pickup to be iron ingots, and we'll set this to be item boxes. We're going to put our final blacksmith right here. We'll set it to making iron frames, and then you'll put the final carpenter to make the small pianos. All right, I went ahead and colored a bunch of things so it's easier to follow along. We're going to finish the final part of the build. Grab a conveyor sorter, and then let's line this one up. That was good. All right, we'll use this other conveyor sorter, and this will finish the seeds loop. Just in case you produce any seeds, they'll just be put into here. The purpose of this is to pick up any excess pillars. This will go into conveyor, and we're gonna meet that storage barrel that we put over there. Grab a corner right here, long conveyor, put it right here, and that's it. Next thing we're gonna do is put all the storage cranes in and do all the storage logic gates. First up is iron. Iron gets 2 storage cranes. Make sure your grid size is 0, almost. Right here works. Grab the next one, and then move back from that one as close as you can. And then you'll move this one towards that one as much as you can. It should light up green. Yep, perfect. Let's do the same thing for copper. Line it up, this one back as much as you can, and move this one right in front of it, just like that. Now for the drills, just line this up. You'll notice when it clicks onto it, don't do that. Just get as close as you can without doing it. You want to line it up with this. As close as I can get, perfect. Just grab another storage crane, put it right next to it without it clicking. Perfect. And then let's grab our third one, right in the middle of the two. Hopefully it's green. There it is. All right. This storage crane just requires iron. So we'll turn it to face, line it up. There we go. Now we need 2 more storage cranes right here. One will be iron and the other will be logs. There we go. Now we'll put this one right in front. All right, now let's put all the storage gates down. We want 1 storage gate for this. Then we'll want 5 more over here. Then we'll have 3 more over here. And then lastly, we'll have this one right here. I went ahead and adjusted all the storage cranes and connected all the storage logic gates. So we're going to go through each one by one. These first two are for copper. This first one, you're going to connect it to this carpenter right here at the end. You'll set it to coil, remember type on 60%, and then the blacksmith. We'll go over to the blacksmith making coils right here. And then this other one will connect to the same blacksmith, copper, remember on 15%, and it'll go to the charcoal storage crane for the copper, which is right over here. Will be this first one. These next three are for iron. Go to this top right one. You're going to connect it to this final carpenter, set it to iron frames, remember on 39%, and then that will go to this blacksmith right here. This next one will start on this blacksmith, iron, remember on 39%, and this will go to the storage crane right over here, behind this log one. And then this third one will be based on the carpenter, same carpenter at the end, iron frame, remember type on 39%, and this storage crane will go to the charcoal for iron, which is right here. This last section is for the wood items, like the table and the bench. It'll be charged to this carpenter right here, and you can set it to either wood table or bench. Remember type on roughly 30%, and then this storage crane will connect to this log crane right here. And then right here we have a storage logic gate. This one will just give us fuel. We'll set it to this storage rack, and if the charcoal ever drops below 2%, it will turn on this storage crane. For this storage logic gate, we will set it to this carpenter, and if nails are ever below 50%, make sure member type is on. It'll turn on this iron crane right here. The last few are right over here, both going to this blacksmith. For this first one, it'll be set to the blacksmith, iron beams, remember type on, roughly 30 or 40%, and it'll go to this storage crane over here to activate this iron crane. And then the next one is the same thing, but for stone, same blacksmith, set it to stone, remember type on 50%, and it'll go to this mining drill right here. And then finally, this last storage logic gate over here tells this drill head loop when the system needs more drill heads. So we will tack it onto the storage rack, set it to drill heads, remember type on. If the system ever drops below 3%, it will activate this storage crane, which is the charcoal right there. Now let's quickly go through all the cranes. As we talked about before, this is for the iron and copper. These front two will be charcoal. Set it to roughly 10 and 7 enabled. Same for this one, 7, 7 enabled, really doesn't matter. And then behind those is the drill head cranes. Just put these in the middle, turn them to on. For this one, set it to log, timer of 5 enabled. And then for this one, set the logs to a timer of 10 and put the rotate drop on as well. And the iron right behind it will be on a timer of 12 enabled. This iron right over here will be on a timer of 15 enabled. And then these three are hard to reach. I would just stand on the mining drill. Click on the middle one, which will be iron, set the timer to, let's just say 12 enabled on. This left one is the drills. Again, just put them in the middle, enabled on. And then finally the charcoal, 7, 7 enabled on. And then back here in the furniture area, make sure that this storage crane is set to 19. Now with all the logic gates in place, let's go through and make sure that all of our corners have high walls. Every conveyor corner should always have high walls on. And then make sure all of your storage cranes are turned on. Make sure your conveyor sorters are facing the correct way. Oh no. And now the factory should be fully running. You can always expand this over again, copy paste it. Just make sure that the range reaches the middle of these. I think now we're going to go into a quick time lapse and see some results.